everything, and then it came with the silver linings colorway, which was dyed with elderberries. Which was dyed with elderberries. Hi, my name is Bethany, and this is the CapitalKknitting podcast. I am based in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, in the United States, and it is April 27th, 2022. We just started getting some really warm weather over here, so it is definitely spring. It was still wintry temperatures probably last week, and a few days ago, for about 3 days in a row, it was about 84 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was hot. But everything seems to be leveling out now, so that's nice. And today it's just been breezy and sunny and very spring-like. A bird literally just flew across my sightline here, and that was pretty perfect. So if you're new here, just know that everything I talk about will be in the description box below. And if you don't see something you're looking for in the description box, please leave a comment and I can refer you to whatever your question is about. Secondly, if you are new here, I would love to know where you came from, if the algorithm just sent you here, or if someone recommended this podcast to you. It is really informative for me, so if you would leave a comment for that, that would be wonderful. Okay, whew, guys, it's been too long, and I'll tell you why. Perfectionism, basically, is about the only reason. I struggle sometimes with not having as much as I want to get done in my life just personally. So when it comes to a knitting podcast, right, like I think, oh gosh, I want to have some finished objects. Last time I didn't have any finished objects, and I was like, oh, that's fine. This time I do have some finished objects, and still I was struggling with sitting down and doing a podcast because I didn't feel like it was enough. Part of that is because I've spread myself a little thin with my projects. I don't know if y'all do this, but I have never really been a monogamous knitter. Even when I was starting out and knitting blankets, I had 4 that I was doing, and I don't think I don't know if that lifestyle is even for me. I've been thinking about it recently, actually, though, just to see how it would go for me. But it actually works well right now to not be a monogamous knitter for me, because I like being able to switch from one project to the other, and sometimes I hyper focus on one until it's done, but usually I don't. So this is one that I did hyper focus on until it was done, like from start to finish. This is the Malwina sweater from Vert and Rose. I've talked about this one before, so I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I am wearing this because I was getting a little chilly. Now that I've drunk my tea, I'm getting a little more warm. And one of my finished objects is a sweater, and I have trouble showing you all the things about it when I'm wearing it, so I will probably change into it after I'm done showing it to you. But yeah, I have trouble because I want to show you the inside too. So first finished object is the Phases sweater by Jennifer Berg. She's the native knitter on Instagram. And you can see by these little crushed ribbing things here that I have been wearing it already. I wore it for probably 3 days, and it was those very hot days. So they're actually like a little bit squished together there on the ribbing, but I don't mind. When I block it out, it'll bounce back. So I've already blocked it, but if I freshen it up to block it out, it'll bounce back. I changed all my colors on the back like the pattern says, but I didn't do any jogless situation there. I don't normally feel like that's necessary. I feel like it's kind of freeing for everybody when they see it not done that way. So I did not bother. But I really liked this pattern. It is being released hopefully mid-May, so go ahead and follow her on Instagram because I'm sure that's where it will be announced. Also, if you have the opportunity to do a test knit for Jennifer, I would say take it. It was very organized, very clear communication, and very generous. When the test knit was over, there's a little survey, which is very normal for a test knit for those of you who may not be familiar with that whole process. It's very normal that you would have like a form you fill out at the end to talk about your experience and your yardage and if you made any modifications to the pattern and what you might suggest for it. So I went down a needle size to get gauged, but that's just because, you know, that's normal, just to have to change your needle size to get gauged because Jennifer and I are different knitters, obviously. This was so enjoyable. The product at the end is so fun. I'll put some pictures here of me wearing it. I wore it today actually to a job fair, and I wore it on purpose because I knew any other knitter would recognize that it was a hand knit object, and I wanted to attract other knitters to myself, and it worked. So that's a funny thing. I've never done that before on purpose, where like it wasn't a knitting event that I was wearing a hand knit thing to. Like I've worn hand knits all the time, but I didn't specifically wear it because I knew other knitters would be there. I just hoped one would be there and that we would find each other, and we did. So she was knitting some vanilla socks, and it was just kind of fun to chat about sock technique and different heels and stuff like that. That was fun. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, and also when I was filling out the survey, she offers to send you a back of the sweater tag. She, I guess, makes those too, and I said, yeah, I'd love to have one of those. So I usually on the one sweater that I've been like, this is done, this is completely done, I put a tag on the back of that says Height Handmade on it because my last name is Height. And with this one though, I think I'll use her tag on it. I think that would be cute. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more length on the bottom. The cropness of it is cute and I like it, but it's hitting like right where my the waistband of my pants are, and I actually thought that would be how I wanted it to be, so that's where I stopped. But I think I actually want it to be a little bit longer than that because I often wear a tank under it just because I know that's where it is. And if I move around, of course, you know, your clothing moves with you. And so I think I would be more comfortable not wearing a tank under it and it being just a little bit longer. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, is take back this ribbing and do some more of this blue and then put the ribbing back on there. That is my plan that I've been thinking about. So this does have some longer floats. I'm going to show you. I cut some of my ends, but not all of them because I'm not worried about it. So I hope this isn't upsetting for any of you. So up here at the top, you can see the floats aren't long here, but then down here between these, they're getting kind of long, and then between these, they're getting kind of long. I didn't catch them, and at first I was going to do like this ladder back situation, but it actually made my color work more bunchy. So I went back and I cut the float and tied it to the so I went and cut all those floats and then just tied them to the next ones because I wanted it to release my floats. So I cut the stitch that was holding the ladder back thing and then just unlooped it all and let it be because I I'm actually okay with this kind of float situation going on. I haven't caught anything on it. I was wondering if I would want to go back and do something with it, but these are all non-superwash yarns, and they're just sticking together like the little club that they are. They're doing great. So I'm a little sad that I just was so messed up about it, like how to catch my floats. Did I want to catch my floats? Did I want to do the ladder back thing? Blah, blah, blah. You know, it would have been fine for me to just do a couple of rows of color work and test something out and then go back if I didn't like it. But sometimes I'm so caught up in not ripping back, which is silly. I'd rather it be right than not have to rip back. And at one point I did mess up the color work on this one. I had I was putting the wrong amount of stitches in between the crosses, and so I had to go back and pick up all these red stitches and then pull it out and start again. So at that point I remembered, oh yeah, it's okay. So I have all these tails back here. They're woven in. I just haven't cut them. And part of that is because I realized this was dry right before I was headed to a birthday party. And so I just cut off the ends that would have been visible when I put it on and put it on my body and left. And then I wore it for like 3 more days and it was great. Also in the pattern, which I think is really smart since this is like a short sleeve, warmer weather spring knit, there's these little eyelets in the stripes and they're not really visible from, you know, back here. I think someone would have to be pretty close to you to see them. And depending on your color choices, they may not if it matches your skin tone. But it's a nice little venting situation. I have a little piece of dry skin on my finger that is snagging this knit. So the Phases sweater from Jennifer Berg, the native knitter. She designed this pattern after the chief blanket of the Navajo tribe, and it's just, I love it. I love everything about it. The color work is really nice because it's easy to keep track of, and then as soon as you do some color work, you do some stripes and some texture work, then you do some more color work, then you do stripes. Like as soon as you're done, like, oh man, okay, I'm good with these stripes, you go into color work, you know. It's all really great. And this armpit, underarm, however you say it, if you're more delicate, underarm, I guess, situation is kind of high. It's like it's up in there, you know. But I think that's actually kind of the beauty of it, is the sleeves are just the teeniest little things. Once you're done with the yoke, which you can see where it splits there, you just do this littlest sleeve and those are done. And then you just got to finish your body. So like I was saying, this is like right, you can see my little folded over waistband here. It's right there. And I think it's cute, but also I'm not used to something riding that high. And so my husband also said it was cute. So I'm going to wear it a little bit longer and see if I'm dedicated to making it a couple inches longer or not, or if it's just me getting used to a different style that I don't normally wear. So yeah. Oh, and the yarns are all in here. I now have a DK weight leftovers bin. I have a fingering weight leftovers bin also, but I now have a DK weight one. So this is Blush Copper by Knitting Niqabi, Silver Linings by Knitting Niqabi, which is here. Then this blue is actually this blue, so it's the second contrast color, and it is a woolen spun non-superwash Highland wool dyed by Lizco Knits, and I loved working with this. It's from a commercial mill, but because it's woolen spun, it feels like hand spun, and I just really, really liked working with it. It is a fingering weight yarn, so I hold it double, and even though sometimes that would make a worsted weight. With this one, since it's so squishy, it was fine. It still didn't change my gauge or anything for it. So then the maroonish, my husband says it's purple. I think it's like a super deep red, but you know, I'm also color deficient, so we usually go with what he says. So this is Mulberry Heather colorway in Scout yarn, and then this one is from Michaela the Maker in Oregon Coast, and it's just the greatest little thing. It's got like brown tones in there too, in that gray, and every once in a while those come up in this, and it's really nice. So, and this other one in here, if you're wondering, is also knitting Niqabi yarn. It's in the colorway Weeds, but that's what I made my next finished object out of. Okay, safe. Okay, whew. Sorry, sometimes I forget to breathe while I talk. I've heard that's kind of a thing that neurodiverse people do. So I'm gonna take a couple of deep breaths and just chill out. Whew. Okay, so next thing is the DK Weight Tread Heavy socks. They are all done, and the test knit is all done for them, and the pattern is released. There's a link in the description box for it. I'm gonna just bring you up to the store so that you can see the fingering weight version and the DK weight version. I'm wearing the fingering weight version right now. They're so comfy. And if you've been with me, you've seen them 1,000 times. So just know that they're so comfortable. And this DK version is so squishy. I did the ribbed arch version. This is just a sole pattern. So it just deals with the back of your heel and through the bottom of your foot. So there's instructions for the whole sock, but aside from the sole, it's just like a vanilla sock. And I did that on purpose because I want people to be able to use it interchangeably with other patterns, and keep whatever panel you're doing on the front or on the back of your leg, just keep that going however you would do it, and then just reinforce the bottom here. So this takes your reinforcement through the back of your heel, around the heel turn, and down underneath. And then this is just the ball of the foot. You can carry it through the whole toe, and I have an instructional video on how to do that when you buy the pattern. I did that with my fingering weight version, and I really like it, but I thought I would show all the options here. I didn't do the ribbing option on the fingering weight sample, but it is in the pattern also. There's also another heel option there. There's an afterthought heel option in the pattern, and that's for anyone who's not a heel flap and gusset person but would like that to be reinforced. Also, if you're a toe up sock knitter, I've recently done my first toe up sock, guys, and I get the hype. Then you will be able to modify this pattern. You'll be able to read through it and know what you know what I mean? Like, you'll be able to know how to reverse engineer it. But if you wanted to ask some questions about how to achieve that, you can definitely email me or send me a message on Ravelry or something so that you can know the best way to do that. So here we go. This is the colorway Weeds from Knitting Niqabi. This is the same silver linings as in my sweater. I just couldn't wait to use it, so I put it in the socks too. And then this is the same yarn I used for my Musselburgh. I still have a little bit of the sport weight yarn left, but all of the Surrey alpaca that I held with it is totally gone. In fact, I had to supplement a little bit with a black on the bottom of this one. So they're all good to go. I don't know what I'll put that sport weight yarn into, but it'll be good. There's enough to do like stripes and things. I know that not everyone feels like they have to use all the things, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to hold on to these little things, but this to me is enough to do something with, you know what I mean? To do, maybe even like, well, it's not a sock yarn, so, well, is it? Hang on, now I'm second guessing myself. No, it's not. Okay, so it's got merino, yak, and linen in it. I was thinking the linen was not nylon for a second. And I wouldn't need to use nylon for a sock if I was doing like heels, toes, and cuffs, especially since I know how to reinforce all of that. So I might use it for that. I don't know. Or maybe just for some more stripy socks. We'll see. Because I have some sport weight yarn in my stash. But yeah, this is the only sport weight situation that I have a leftover in. So that's always a funny place for me where I have to break into other yarn to use up leftover yarn. I can't just add it to something, but we'll see. It'll eventually be used up. Let's dive into some WIPS, shall we? This is Lilia's jumper. She is 2 months old now, ish, a little under, I think, which is good. And I am making her this little jumpsuit. This is where the little armholes are, and then there's a placket here where there's gonna be buttons, and it's just so cute. It's so cute. Ugh. And the last time we talked, I was here, but now we're all the way down here, and I'm just a couple of rows from splitting for the legs. So I'm knitting the 9 to 12 month size, but holy moly, I've still got some legs to put on here. And granted, they're not very long because it's supposed to be like, you know, it's supposed to have a lower crotch for a little diaper butt to be in there. But still, I'm kind of like, this is kind of big for a 9 to 12 month situation. And I knew the pattern said I wasn't going to make it with one skein of yarn. So I did this contrast business in, this is an Earth brand yarn, and it is super stretchy. Look at, it just goes like, the spring back on this is amazing. And it's in the colorway Cinnamon. I got this to finish off just the littlest bit of my pumpkin spice socks. So I am wondering how much I'll have left to use from it when I finish this. And then the main color that I used is Yurt and Yarrow yarn from Katie Anders. And it, whoa! And it's in the colorway number 2. This is a superwash yarn. This is just 100% superwash wool. And then this is a sock yarn. This is a 70, no, this is 100% wool, superwash wool. So that's fun that it's all superwash for her to be able to just let it snap back when she has to wash it. I haven't put the buttons on it yet because I want to block it before I do that. Although I want to put the buttons on it because it's going to be so cute. There's like a little buttonhole here, and then the buttonholes are in the ribbing as it goes down. So it's very cute. I am losing my motivation for it because it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Honestly, I didn't think a 9 to 12 month old size would be this big. My baby is almost 2.5, and so maybe I don't have as good of a gauge. Also, my babies are very big and her babies are not so big, and so I feel like this would be great for my babies when they're that size, but her baby might not fit into this until it's like 2 years old. I don't know, we'll see. Either way, it's something for her to grow into. And I'm going to point out this stitch marker here. It says make mistakes. I absolutely love it. It's from my sister-in-law. She sent over some stitch markers that include one of these for the 500 subscriber giveaway. As soon as we hit that, I'm going to do a video and we're going to do a giveaway for the stitch markers and some yarn too that you're going to love. So this is coming along. It is not going as fast as I thought it would. Maybe my expectations for a baby knit were not, I don't know, weren't low enough, weren't high enough. My expectations were not low enough, I think, for how long this was going to be. I hear about all these baby knits that just are so fast. But also I'm knitting a jumpsuit, which is like, a whole body thing just sans sleeves. So maybe that should have been factored into my expectations also. And I really like the fade I did here. This is just one round and then 2 rounds of each one, and then just 1 round of that yellow left. I have this much left of that yellow. That is it. I didn't even have enough for another round. It's just this. So this is what I would truly call a scrap, and I'm gonna put it in my little scraps jar for those. So hopefully you won't see this one again. Hopefully I will finish it and send it off to her before we move. We are moving in, oh golly, in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. I'm not ready. So anyway, I'll just knit this and hopefully send it off to her before we leave. That would be ideal. I don't want to have that on my needles for 3.5 more weeks. So okay, these next ones are the only other small knits I have on my needles, and then we'll jump into the few sweaters that are still there. Okay, so this is the flip top mittens by Vanessa Ewing. I don't have the flip top part on it yet, but this is that pattern, and I modified it because I did a double thick cuff on it. I just did a provisional cast on, knit twice as long, and this is a twisted rib, a full twisted rib, but I didn't do a twisted rib on the inside. I just did a regular rib because it isn't as it's faster for me to do that, and no one's ever going to see it under there. And then I took the cable pattern from the flip top part and put it on the main part. Now you can see that this color is very different. The cornflower color down here and then this dark harbor color up here, I tried to fade them as I went, but it's still a pretty stark contrast, and I'm surprised by that because I was holding them both with this indigo. It's always hard for me to say this yarn name, so I'll just hold it up for you. This is in the colorway indigo, and so because I'm kind of marling my yarn as I was switching yarn colors, I thought it would make it way less noticeable. I don't know how I feel about the finished product. I have this one all the way to the finish from the fade for the cornflower color as well. And I just don't know if I like it as much as I thought I was going to, but I am going to finish them because at the very least they can just be family mittens in my house and someone can wear them when they're cold. They are very warm because the cornflower colorway, and so this is the cornflower colorway, right? Yeah. Juniper Moon Harriet cornflower colorway. It's 100% alpaca, extra fine baby alpaca. And then this one that I'm doing now is the Dark Harbor colorway, which is the exact same base as the cornflower colorway. And I really, really like this color. I love how rich that is. So I'm thinking about making a hat with this one. I think I'd probably be more pleased with it for that. But yeah. Oh, and the indigo yarn is a wool silk blend. This thumb came out a little bigger than I thought it would, and that is because I picked up extra stitches here in the thumb split and forgot to decrease back down. So I'm contemplating whether or not I should rip back and make it smaller. And I should. The more I think about it, I should, because the only one who has thicker thumbs than me in our family is my husband, and he doesn't wear cold weather clothing hardly ever. He should. he doesn't. I think he should. He thinks that the one who gets to determine whether or not he should is himself, which is entirely true. But still, I think he should. Yeah. So those would take, I think, a few days to finish up. But I've just had some deadlines to keep up with for a few test knits. I only have one test knit left before we move, and I am determined not to sign up for any more test knits until we're done moving, so that I won't be either stressing myself out or not meeting a deadline for a designer who it's not their fault that I couldn't handle moving and knitting at the same time. So, speaking of test knits though, here is the Birds of Prey socks by Mary of Maradiddle Makes. Look at those stitches. Oh my goodness, here. I'm gonna move these to here. Ooh, okay. Oh my goodness. Look at this stitch definition. Oh, I love this pattern. It's so rhythmic, and I had a really hard time not just hyper focusing on this and just doing it. In fact, I noticed as I was struggling with doing that, I was like, wow, I've been doing a really good job of managing my time because I kept thinking about this knit, and it's just so nice. You just go do a repeat, do another repeat. And even though there's a clear stopping point, I know that for some repeats there's not, as soon as you get to the end of one repeat, you're actually kind of into the next round of what the pattern looks like. But with this one, there actually is a stopping point in the pattern that you could pause if you want to. So that's nice. And this cable cuff, I love it. I love that it's ribbed, but still cute. Like, come on. She could have just done a ribbed cuff, friends. She could have just done a ribbed cuff and had this great little front panel, and it would have been super cute. But no, she decided to finish with a bang, because this is a toe-up sock, and I love it. I love it so, so much. So I'm excited to do the other one. We just had to get one done for the test knit, but I am going to be getting the second one done fairly soon because these are my son's birthday socks. His other socks that I knit just heels and toes and cuffs onto from a sock tube are not staying on his feet, and they're frustrating him, obviously, because they're falling into his shoes. And I don't want him to have bad memories of hand knit socks, so I'm making him another one, and I'm just going to take the other ones and frog them. So, yeah, this is the first toe-up sock that I've ever finished completely. Honestly, I've knit a few toes to socks. I just haven't completed the sock. This is the first toe-up sock that I've completed, and she gave us the option to do whatever heel we wanted with it, which is really nice because when you're doing socks, you know what fits your foot and you know what you like. And I think that's just a really smart move for sock test knitters who are doing like a front panel thing. That's what I've done with all the test knits for my tread heavy socks, but for the front. If I just want you to reinforce that sole. Whatever you put on the leg or the front is your business. It actually won't affect the bottom, so just do whatever you need to do around that. So this is a shadow wrap heel, and I'm really pleased with it. You can see that it's a little deeper than an afterthought heel. It even has like this little curve on it, so I think it's gonna be a much better fit for him. He tried this one on and walked around in it for a second and was like, yeah, it's not falling off, Mom, thanks. He's 7. Just turned 7 like 5 days ago. Oh, it's a good thing that like mothers don't have to be ready for their children to grow older, for them to grow older. Like it's just a good thing. So I haven't blocked this yet, and it still looks that good. Oh, I am in love with it. This blue color never shows up correctly. It is Sweet Georgia Tough Love sock base on the colorway Summer Skin. I have a picture of it that I'll put up that like shows the accurate color as close as I can get to it, so that if you're in love with this color of the yarn and you ordered it, you wouldn't be like, what? Because they are very different. I am not sure why my camera interprets this color the way that it does, but you know, technology has its limitations. So I've got the second sock here. And I've just started, just barely, that into the main foot color yarn. It's so funny. Most of the time when you say main color, you mean the color that you started with. So in this sweater, this is the main color in the pattern because that's what you start with. But with a toe-up sock, what you start with, if you're doing contrast heels and toes, is your contrast color. Which, anyway, it's just, I've just been mulling that around in my mind. This contrast color is a knitted wit gem. It is in the colorway Buckle My Shoes. I think I'll have enough for the heel with that. I think. And I've been using this little stitch marker to show myself my progress on the sock as I go, because I've just been astonished at how fast they're knitting up. And this is another one from my sister-in-law that I love. And there's another one of these that's going to be in the giveaway box bundle also. So I am loving this. I have also been doing this sock on 2 9-inch US 1 2.25 millimeter needles, and I've been loving it. I normally do them on 1 9-inch needle, but because I've gone down to a 60 stitch count on a US 1.5, which is 2.5 millimeter needle, and that was a little bit tight. When I was up at a 64, the socks didn't fit me on a 1.5, but they were very comfortable to knit, and I was a little bit frustrated that the smaller circumference was harder for me to knit. But I really, really like this system. I like the way that works. And I will post a link in the description box. I think Kay, the crazy sock lady, has a tutorial on how to do socks on 2 9-inch circulars. She has a tutorial on pretty much everything with socks. If you are wondering, I wonder how someone would do that, that's the person you should go look up tutorials from. That and Very Pink Knits. They both have really great tutorials for a ton of techniques, but of course Kay has some really good ones with socks because she's a crazy sock lady. So I'm hoping to be able to do sock camp this year. I don't know. I've been bit by the sweater bug, obviously, because I have 3 on my needles right now, but I think it would be lots of fun. I would probably have a lot of second socks to do, because I think for the camp you only have to do 1 of the technique. We'll see how it goes. I would love to do it. I think it would be so fun. Just the community aspect of it, I think, would be really fun. So who cares if I have a bunch of first socks? Anyway, I got this yarn bowl and I love it. Yarn bowls are completely unnecessary and I love them. I love it. I've seen yarn bowls before, like really pretty ones, and thought, this is ridiculous. First of all, you could just use a regular bowl, which you can, and sometimes can be just as aesthetically pleasing if you have a pretty kitchen bowl that you just want to use while it's clean to do knitting stuff. But this one is the perfect size. And so now I want to compare it to like pretty kitchen bowls I have to see. Also, I'm not super afraid of this breaking, so I've brought it in the car with me. It even fits like just in the center console in the car, and I love it. It may be my new sock knitting thing to do. I'm not sure. As if I only have one pair of socks on the go at a time. I don't. This one is another toe-up situation that I need to finish. Anyway. All right. Is that it? Now onto sweaters. DRK Everyday Sweater. Oh, this has taken me so long to finish the ribbing on the bottom. It's 4 inches of ribbing, y'all, but it is done. Tubular bind off and everything done. Oh, I'm gonna be so excited when this is done. I don't think this will be my favorite process knit. If you're looking for a lot of stockinette on some smaller needles, this is for you. You would definitely like that. But because this is a personal knit, it's not a test knit, it's not a gift or anything, it's been put on the back burner a couple times in the WIP rotation. But I have my sleeves on a 2 at a time situation here. I don't know if I'm actually going to do them 2 at a time. In fact, I probably won't. But they're holding my stitches for now. And that's fine. When I come back to it, I will make some decisions about that. I think it's cool, the people who do 2 sleeves at a time, because then when you're done, you're just done. It's like doing 2 socks at a time. But yeah, I don't know if I have the bandwidth for that kind of yarn management. Already look at this business. No, I'm probably not going to do it that way. Anyway, this is Huasco sock in the colorway Ochre. And I love all the tones in this. I'm probably going to make a pair of socks with it because I believe I'm going to have some left over. This is Surrey Alpaca in the colorway Rust. And even though the tones are not similar at all, I love them held together. I think the fabric is just so yummy. Yeah. So that's where we are on that. Hopefully I will be able to finish the sleeves before it's too sweltering hot, but even if I don't, I know that when I pull out things for the fall, I'm going to be really happy to see it. So I will be continuing with that. I do find that sometimes I'm working a year ahead, garment-wise, of what I am wanting, with the exception of this. This is perfect for right now. It's the spring. It's a perfect spring knit. And I got it done in a few weeks, so that's perfect. But with some personal knits, I find that by the time I finish it, that season is over. So when I come back around to it, it'll be nice, I guess. So yeah. Okay, second one is, this was a test knit for Vert and Rose, who's the one who also made the Malwina sweater and the Malwina socks. But this is a cardigan. It is a non-seamed saddle shoulder cardigan. And the test knit was just for the yoke and a sleeve. So I completed those before the deadline, but I haven't completed the rest of it because I had the deadline for this, and so I just switched gears. But I am very excited about having this done. Look at these beautiful braid cables that go all the way down the shoulder and into the sleeve. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love it. She said she was inspired by the French braids her mom used to put in her hair. Isn't that so cute? And this yarn, these gaps here are because I had to drop down because I did the cable the wrong way for a second and I had to fix it. But that'll block out, so it's okay. This is the most neutral yarn in the world and I'm in love with it. I'm so excited about it. So I think I'm going to do this other sleeve and then I'm going to just do the body of it because I enjoy the cables, but also they make me a little nervous because I've had to drop down a couple times and fix them because I've done them the wrong way. But these are all exactly how they're supposed to be because I dropped down. They're all exactly the way they're supposed to be, right? Oh my goodness, am I seeing a mistake right now? What? No. No, it's fine. Oh, that would have really bothered me because I have done it twice. And I think you can see where it was here. This tension is a little off because of that. And then down here. But those will block out and it'll be fine. Whew, I'm excited about it. I also did the neckband in the wrong needle size. I noticed that I did it in the wrong needle size after it was done. So since this is a picked up neckband, I'm gonna finish the cardigan, see if I like it being a little bigger than what the pattern says. I'm usually okay with a bigger neckline and maybe just keep it that way. I'm gonna see. Because the buttonhole isn't off from where it should be. You know what I mean? So yeah. And obviously picking up a neckband just gives it more stability for the neckline, and it's not going to affect like how the shoulders fit if you knit it longer or shorter or anything. As long as you've picked it up and it's got some fabric on there, it's not going to affect that. So I absolutely love it. I put on like a fake finished object picture of the yoke and the sleeve, the shoulder, on Instagram because I think it's hilarious that we can do that like someone could take photos of something and not actually be done. I put on there that I didn't finish it, but it looks finished on the photo. This is another Juniper Moon Farm Harriet in extra fine baby alpaca. This is the colorway Tumbleweed, and it is just the most oatmeal-y. Look at that. Oh, so the most neutral thing in the world. I love it. And I'm holding it together with a Surrey alpaca in the colorway Pearl. Now you might be wondering, like, alpaca with alpaca, what the heck, Bethany, why? Because this has alpaca, obviously, but it's mostly silk. When you hold something with mohair or alpaca, generally the fiber content has a significant portion of silk in it. And so that gives it more stability. And then my 100% alpaca yarn that I'm holding it with won't stretch as much when I block it. The third and final sweater and final work in progress is the pocket sweater. It is so cute. This is the first part you do if you're doing the patch pocket version, which I love because it's your swatch, which is great. So cute. And then you leave these on because that's how you're going to attach this to your sweater. It'll tell you when you're supposed to do that. Technically, you can put it wherever you want, but it has instructions for how you're supposed to do that. And then this is my back for it. Eventually, I will join the fronts and everything in the round. It's a drop shoulder construction. This is shepherd's wool in the colorway Berries, and I am in love with it. I think I am going to just wear this sweater all the time. I can already tell it's a color that I love. The construction is really classic, and even though it's gonna be more stockinette, it's a worsted weight sweater, so it's not gonna take as long, obviously, as a sport weight sweater. I'm very excited about it. Obviously, this is curling because it's stockinette, but this is where we start. We've got some increases here, and then I need to knit probably 2 more inches, and then I can switch to knitting the fronts. And after those, I'll be able to join it in the round, and it'll go very fast. It has to go very fast, actually, because I realized when the deadline is. It's the last test knit before I move, and the deadline for the sweater is fast approaching. So I'm probably just gonna focus on that first, even though I have other things that I need to finish probably Lilia's jumpsuit and that sweater are the only thing I'm gonna knit on for a while, just because the other things don't have any deadlines anymore, or they didn't have any deadlines to begin with. The two frogged objects back here that we talked about last time still haven't been cast on because they're just on deck for me mentally, and that's okay with me right now. So as long as it's okay with me right now, I'm just gonna let it be that way, which is good. Okay, I'm gonna jump into acquisitions real quick because, not real quick, I can take my time. You can speed up this video if you want, or you can watch it in parts. It's fine. I don't know why I always feel rushed. It's okay. We have the time. Knitting is a practice of patience and respect. Okay, now, my birthday was a few days ago. I am now 36 years old, and I feel fine about it. I feel good about it. Kind of neutral about it, which I think is good. And my husband got me some blocking mats, which were just in time because I needed to block this sweater. And the last time I blocked something, I did it on top of towels, and the time before that I did it on top of a mattress, which are totally fine. You can do that. I've just found that it takes a lot longer for them to actually dry because the bottom of whatever is being blocked stays wet longer because the water has soaked into what's underneath it, and so you have to wait for like everything to dry, and that just takes a long time. So this came with 9 blocking mats. This is the Mindful collection. I think it's from Knit Picks. I think, maybe? No, it's by Knitter's Pride, which is fine. I think Knit Picks and Knitter's Pride actually are the same parent company, but that's okay. So they have these beautiful designs on them, and it came with 9, and then I also have an extra one that I got with a subscription service to block like squares of a blanket and stuff, and they all fit in here. So I have 10 in this little bag, and that's really nice because also recently I have purchased the blocking combs, and I really liked using them. It really helped get some, can you see it? Some straight lines on my cardigan when I blocked it out the last time. I'm just really, really pleased with them. They were a great idea. I have about 20 T-pins, which isn't enough sometimes depending on how big the project is. So that's been really nice. And then also I got another little basket. I keep my minis in the same basket. It's exactly the same. And right now I am keeping my first socks in here with the corresponding yarn. I still have a Melwina sock to finish before my sister's birthday. Don't tell her. And yeah, so I've just been keeping socks that still need help in there. And this is where I need your help. My grandmother sent me a box of yarn, and I'm just so happy about that that's what she sent me, because I mean, come on, who doesn't want a box of yarn? And I have never worked with any of these kinds of yarn before. So the first thing, I have an idea of what I want to do, but the second two, I have no idea what I'm going to make with them. And I would really appreciate your help in deciding. So the first thing, well, are these glittery. Look at how glittery those are. Oh my goodness. They are 57% polyamide and 43% Lurex glitter. They are Yarn Bee Intrigue in the colorway Titania and True Love, and Rouge is the middle one. And I think I'm gonna make a bunch of pom-poms to make a big garland for my daughter's room for our new house. I think that would be really fun. they're so glittery. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it would catch all the light and it'll be really fun. So I have an idea for that one. But for these, this is like a ribbon yarn. And I haven't ever used that before. And I guess it doesn't matter what you like, as long as you're cool with using it for something with a looser gauge. So yeah, I'm wondering like if I should make a bag or, but I've never looked for bag patterns before. Let me know what you think, because I am so intrigued around this. And there's 3 of them. Like, that could make a sizable thing. Although they are, so it's in the color Bog Copper in the Chrysalis. It's, yeah, Chrysalis yarn by Yarn Bee, and it's, what did it say? Oh yeah, it's 100 grams, but it's only 35 yards. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a heavier yarn, but just thinking through that, 35 yards. So what could I make? What kind of thing could I make with, what is that? 100 and, oh geez, 105 yards. Still thinking about it. And then this is some boucle yarn in the Color Waves Lion brand. It's 73% acrylic and 17% polyester. And I saw, oh yeah, the colorway is Caribbean. So it's just this purpley blue green boucle business. And I've never worked with boucle yarn either. And so yeah, I'm wondering what I could use it for. Yeah, it looks fun. Looks fun. So that is from Grandma. And then my mother, and then my mother sent me Knit Picks yarn, which I've never used before. I'm so excited. This one is Knit Pick Stroll in the color Red Wing Blackbird, which makes total sense. And then this one is Knit Pick Stroll in the color Northern Lights, which also makes sense. They're both beautiful. And I've been wanting to use Knit Pick Stroll. I just had not gotten around to ordering it. I've heard really good things about it from other knitters. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, friends. She also got me this amazing looking bag. Look at this. This is the brand name. Niqabi, is that how you say it? And I think it is the coolest thing. Because first of all, when I first opened it, I did not know how cool it was. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a yarn bag. That's so cool. Has 3 openings for if you're using it for a colorwork project. Also can obviously hold so much yarn. Look at this. Little stitch marker holder over here with complementary stitch markers. And this is my favorite part, this front pocket. I think this is just going to be my travel knitting bag always now. Look at this. It's like a whole organizational system in here. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm just gonna, I'm probably, when it's time to move, just gonna throw all my active WIPS in this bag and any tools I need for them in the front pocket. And that way, if for some reason my yarn is, you know, covered by a tower of boxes or something, I'll be okay. Like, I won't feel like I need to run out and start a new project when I obviously have projects here that I can finish. So yeah, those were my birthday gifts, and I feel like it's funny that my entire family in the last year has like just been like, oh yeah, she really likes knitting, let's give her knitting stuff, and it's just been really sweet. Okay, last acquisition, guys. If you ordered Knitting Niqabi's Herbology box and you haven't opened it yet, probably just want to stop this video right now or skip ahead to the goodbyes, because I'm going to show it to you because it's wonderful. Okay, so last month, not last month, she does this bi-monthly. So February's box was the elderberry theme, and it came with goodies and everything, and then it came with the silver linings colorway, which was dyed with elderberries, which was dyed with elderberries. It's so cool to me that this came from elderberries. I wouldn't have thought that. I would have assumed it would be like a red or something, but she always puts what they are dyed with on the back of her skein holders. You can see dyed with elderberry there. And this month's theme was chamomile. So first of all, chamomile is just notoriously known for being awesome in the herb community, right? Not that I'm part of the herb community, I'm like herb community adjacent. So I only know how awesome things are, not exactly how I should use them. So I actually really am enjoying this box so much because I just know that all of it's really good. So it comes with this really great print and the scientific name on the bottom. And then on the back, it has like what chamomile is and how it's been used throughout history and the benefits of it. So chamomile is the common name for several daisy-like plants of the family Asteraceae. The word chamomile is derived from the Greek word that means earth apple. Huh. Matricaria camelia is often called German chamomile or water of youth. Knew none of that. And I love it. I love it. I love learning all the things about it. So, Knitting Niqabi also has a tea company. Kelsey also has a tea company. Knitting Niqabi is the yarn company. IHA is the tea company. And this one is a sleepy time tea. Helps reduce stress, anxiety, and increase sleep. Sorry, the motorcycle that lives near us is kind of loud. And they just kind of idle there for a while, a lot of the time. It irritates me so much. That's okay. Moving on. I'll just make myself some of this tea. I'll feel better. Chamomile, lavender, rose hips, and lemon balm. Helps reduce stress, anxiety, and increase sleep. Yes, yes to all of that. And then there is this blueberry lavender chamomile handcrafted soap. Le Bluier? I don't know. I never took French, but it looks French to me. And they are in Lincoln, California, if you want to look them up. And all of this is very natural things. Yeah. Cool. I think it's so cute too because they made this little soap blueberry on the top. Isn't that cute? And then there's this, which is a natural lens. Fun. I'm going to show you if you can see it. I'm a little shaky today, guys. Sorry. Natural blends. There it is. Whew. Sleep Ease is what it's called, and you can put it under your feet. Not under your feet. You apply it to the bottom of your feet before you go to sleep. And it smells so good. It smells so good. Okay, and now for the grand finale, the yarn. Ooh. All right, you ready? Ooh. Here it is. Oh, I love it. Looks so good. I got the DK weight version. You can get the fingering weight. You can choose when you sign up for the box. You can choose fingering weight or DK weight. It's an opt-in box, so you can choose it every time. You don't have to just choose DK weight like every time you order or something. And I'm gonna pull this up a little bit because she sent an email to us about how, because she would, you know, she dyes with natural fibers, right? And so the chamomile flowers, actually some of the, would you call it vegetable matter or something, is in there. It got stuck to the yarn when she pulled it out. And she did, like she said, she got out as much as she could without like having to spend, you know, a million hours to do it. But like, look at that. This is a little flower. There's a little flower in there. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. And she sent emails to everybody who ordered and was like, if you're not about that, that's fine. You know, I can refund you for it. And I was kind of like, that's a lot of, like, to me, that's a lot of commitment to integrity, to know that like maybe some people didn't have those expectations and to give them an option to be refunded their money. That's a big deal. I feel like that just speaks to her integrity as a business owner. Personally, I was like, now I'm even more interested in the yarn. Please do not take me off the list. I'm even more into this yarn now that it has dried flowers in it. Like, come on. And honestly, I really enjoy it when I find vegetable matter in the yarn. As I'm knitting with it, I'll like just kind of pull it out. And with most wool, obviously with this, I'll know it's flowers. But with most wool, I'm always like, where has this been? What's the life of this sheep been like? And yeah, so I'm wondering, I'm thinking if I keep ordering the box, right, for the year, then that'll be 6 colorways. And obviously with even putting the stripes in these socks and using it as one of the contrast colors for this sweater, I still have a significant amount of the silver linings left. I think it'd be really cool to like use all of the Herbology colors in a sweater or something by the end of the year. I don't know. I just think it would be cool. Who knows if they'll all go together, because yeah, I don't know what the next themes are. And obviously I didn't know if I didn't know the elderberry one was going to be green. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that I'll be able to have one more podcast before we move. But if for some reason I'm not able to do that, I'll definitely still be posting about my projects on Instagram, and feel free to follow me there. I love seeing everyone's projects, and especially when I'm in a similar hashtag as someone else, or they just tag me in something so I can see it. I just love that. I will be taking the jumpsuit. No, I'll be taking the test knit downstairs now and trying to focus on that. And until we see each other again, happy knitting.